Welcome to the Hearthstone Complaint Department podcast. Hope you are not sodium intolerant. Here are your hosts, Jay and Nick. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to the Hearthstone Complaint Department, where we do a deep dive on the saltiest takes about Hearthstone, past, present, and future. This is not an I Hate Hearthstone show, but we are here to talk about all the things that drive people bonkers about the game, unpack them, and see how we can turn those smiles or frowns upside down. My name is Jay from This Week in Hearthstone, and my co-host is the one and only Nick from the Flair Hearthstone YouTube channel. What's up, Nick? How are you?
I'm doing all right. Ooh, the light in front of me just shut off. That's awesome.
That's really good.
How are you doing? Sorry, one second.
It's fine. We're going to keep on going. We don't need to see the light. Listen, today's episode is titled 5 episodes in, and we already need to apologize. And you may be wondering why. We did nothing wrong, right, Nick? Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Never
no,
done anything wrong.
It can't be your fault.
No. Listen, but when I am wrong, I will be the first to admit it. So I decided to go ahead and ask my colleague, ChatGPT, to help write up a statement about this. So this is our first apology. So we at the Hearthstone Complaint Department apologize sincerely for the misinformation shared regarding the duration of Anomalies event. We incorrectly assumed it would be available for the entire month when in fact it was only scheduled for a 1-week period. We understand that this error caused frustration and disappointment among many of you, and we take full responsibility for our mistake. It was never our intention to mislead the community. We are committed to improving communication and fact-checking processes going forward. Thank you for your understanding. Yeah, I saw the notes, I saw the instructions, and to me, it looked like, okay, we were getting this until the new expansion dropped. What about you?
Yeah, that's what I thought it said as well. I'm definitely a lot happier that it didn't. I'm not gonna lie.
Agreed.
Yeah, I feel like the wording on the post might have been a little weird. I don't remember it, and I haven't looked at it in a little bit, but I think that was why.
Right, and even Nick Dept even said, like, he saw where I was coming from that situation. So, the idea is this is entirely, we said before, this is not a I Hate Hearthstone, podcast type of thing, but the apology is sincere. Like, if I'm sitting there and trying to get people riled up, that was not my intention. I don't want to rile people up over this game. I want to discuss the game, absolutely. But we had a 40-minute conversation over the week-long instead of a month-long Anomalies event. It was good content, though. We got our points across. I think we eloquently talked about some of the good and the bad of the Anomalies event. I wouldn't mind it back for a week period if we know that, hey, this is going to be a week. It would be interesting to see if we knew from Jump Street that, hey, it was only going to be a week event and we didn't run through thinking it was going to be a month, what the episode would have been about. It's been interesting.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been as upset if I had known it was a week instead of a month. I'm going to be honest.
No, exactly. I 100% agree with you. So as we do every single week, we just talk about how the game's going for us just for a few minutes, just to say hi and everything. Nick, how has the game been for you this week?
So I reinstalled the game.
Yes.
I know. Well, that was mainly because I learned that anomalies were gone.
Okay.
So I've been playing a lot of Huron Hunter and Wild, and Specifically, I'm losing on the deck. Specifically, like I'm getting to game states where I can win and then just concede, so I stay in Diamond 5 because I don't want to hit Legend before the expansion comes out.
Okay, that makes sense.
I know that sounds weird, but in my head, I'm like, okay, I won the game, concede. Right? That's how I'm like thinking of it.
Okay, that's not going to give you as many rewards.
I know it sounds weird, but I don't want to hit Legend until the expansion comes out because, dude, that's such good clickbait for a video. Oh, new broken deck,
That's
Legend.
True. That's true. I went through and I'm just trying to finish the event, the Midsummer event. I think I'll have it finished by tonight. I didn't do it today because, trying to go through all of the content for the week takes up a large chunk of my weekend. And, so I was like, you know what, I'll finish it tonight. I think I have like one more quest or something like that to finish. And then I will make sure that before anything goes on crazy, which we'll get to in a few minutes, before that happens on Monday. Let's talk about one of the main topics that we're going to talk about today. There's a couple of things, but one of the things is when we see something awesome about the game, we definitely want to talk about it. And I'm looking through all the information that I've been trying to go through as I'm creating content or what have you for the month, and I'm like, wow, we really have it good as a budget player. For those of us that are not spending a lot of money on this game, there's a lot of opportunities, and we did not have all of those opportunities, at least when I first started in 2017. It is a much, much better game for a free-to-play player. What do you think?
Yeah, you get just the rewards track, like the base rewards track already gives you more gold than you were getting back with the old system. The old system capped you out at a certain amount per day as well. So the new system might be tied to quests, but you can still just play a million games and you'll effectively be getting more experience tracked back into gold. I forget how the numbers exactly work, but even when the reward track first came out, when people were really like, oh man, you get nothing from this, you were still getting, I think, on average, 20% more gold than you were before, which is insane because they made the reward track a million times easier since then.
Yeah, I am, and apologies, my dog likes not hearing fireworks. He's actually playing the game right now. He's playing a priest, and he is not happy that he has to fight another priest. Thank you. See, he's even saying that. New player experience is one of the other things that, for a budget player, when you're starting the game, when you first, at least what I did in many years ago, is you didn't get anything during that new player experience. There was no such thing. You just started playing and you had to spend money at the game for you to get a well-rounded deck. You had, just a couple of cards in the expansion from here and there, the little legacy set or what have you, but it wasn't anything substantial. It wasn't anything to where, hey, you could be competitive right now and you could exactly how you wanted to be playing. The dog is going nuts.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you get a starter deck when you first start the game now, which gives you, I think it's either 3 or 4 legendaries on average. Even if the deck doesn't need them, it'll give you a lot of legendaries. What else is there? When was this? In March of the Lich King. They didn't do this last Christmas, but the holiday season of March of the Lich King 2 years ago, they actually gave out 60 packs to everyone. There was 5 packs of a bunch of different expansions, and that's what. So my current Hearthstone account is a new one, right? I started playing on that one to do a free to play to Legend because I actually got locked out of my old account and hadn't played for a few months. So I was like, oh man. But at one point, they did just give you a lot of stuff. The holiday season in 2022, I think it was, when March of the Lich King came out, was the absolute best time to be a new player in Hearthstone. They had already done the new player decks, and then those amount of cards you would get, insane.
Yep. One of the things I was also remembering too is we had ketchup packs. We didn't have that recently.
When did they add ketchup packs? Was it Titans?
Yeah, I believe it was Titans.
Yeah, they added ketchup packs. So if you don't own cards, each pack can give you up to 25, right? 5 for.
No, it was more than that. We were pulling, I think, 55 out of a pack.
Oh, really? I had so many cards when they came out, so I wasn't getting very many. Because I think you still get a minimum of 5.
Yeah, I think that was the bare minimum. It's massive that you're able to do that. And then listen, core set. The core set is also something that, yes, it changes, but how many legendaries are in the core set that you can mess around with right now? There's a ton.
I think every class gets 4.
Yeah, and then there's
maybe Death Knight gets more. Maybe Death Knight, but
Death Knight is a special anomaly. It needs
Death Knight, they get more cards. I don't know. Dude, Death Knight's weird.
Yeah. And then the other thing too, I mean, I forgot to put ketchup packs on here, but we talked about it. And then, and we've probably mentioned this before. I have that weekly series that I do for budget decks every week. But, if you're looking at the ones from this week, there's like 15 different decks right now of like 6 different classes. Every single one of them is below 2,000 dust.
Oh, wow.
And these are like literally right now, tier 1 for the months now has been the Flood Paladin. And then there's also the other Paladin. And that one's like 760 dust.
Oh my.
It's
crazy.
My. Imagine how we used to have, like, literally, like this time last year, we were playing with 21,000 dust hunter decks.
Yeah. There's literally a deck. There's literally a deck that existed in Hearthstone called Wallet Warrior. Like, that's back when Hearthstone. That's back when Hearthstone. The whole joke is, the best card is the credit card.
Yeah. Did Zeddy recently do something online where he posted a list of like every diamond card in a set?
Yeah,
I don't
remember what expansion it was, but one of the recent ones, I think it was either Whizbangs or Showdown in the Badlands. You could finally have a full signature and full diamond deck, which is like, dude, that's so much money.
So if it was just legendary cards, it was 48. That is 48,000 dust. If you're not playing Renathal, that makes it a 40 card. 40 card deck. That would be amazing. That's got to be broken. I think I want to do that. I don't know if I have enough to do that. I'm sure I have close to enough, but maybe
I know
see,
for
like,
a fact I don't.
Let's put like that huge deck together and then see how far we could climb with that.
I don't think you're gonna.
No, it's probably
I remember back in the day, you would always see those videos where it was like you'd have 30 golden legendaries, and then you'd have like Cthulhu the Shattered, and then you'd have Prince Malchezaar to shuffle more golden legendaries into your deck. And people were like, "Oh, look at this insanely expensive deck!" And that was like peak Hearthstone back in the day.
That Prince card, I use that every game I played. The one that added 5 more cards. I used to use that every single deck I had. I don't think I crafted that. No, and I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest card ever. Because I did not have a collection. And I was spending money like weekly or every other week on like, I'm going to buy like 5 packs.
Plus, we're forgetting about the best legendary ever printed, Whizbang, in Whizbang's Workshop. So you can play a million different decks for just one legendary.
No?
Oh, okay.
No. I think you're missing. The other one was good. The first Whizbang was.
Yeah, the first Whizbang is a lot better. Because the first Whizbang technically in Wild can get you like a tier 1 standard deck a lot of the time. Because it still works. It still works, which is really funny. The way if you don't know the way that Whizbang the old Whizbang works is that it pulls from the construction decks that are in the game. So each class has like 2 decks that are like precons that you can play if you own it. It'll go through your collection and fill them out. When you go to like the option where it's like create deck, that button, it will show the 2 of them. Yeah. So Whizbang will pull from those 2. There's one that's like all core cards. Whizbang doesn't pull from that. And I mean, it's not great. Don't get me wrong, but it is technically the most free to play way to play this game is to play those decks.
That's really cool. For the listener out there, this is on episode 5. We've talked about this. Every episode so far has either been a thunderstorm, a rainstorm, or fireworks, and my dog has flipped his lid the entire time, so I apologize. I'm not editing it. The dog wants to bark. The dog's going to bark.
The dog's the third member.
Exactly. We're gonna put a dog cam up here later on to watch him bark at the stream. That'll be cool. What else do we have to say about the budget experience for someone playing? So one of the things too, and I didn't get a chance to do it because the dog was screaming and yelling at me. One of the new player experiences that I didn't talk about was they give you decks. Like you're not just getting you're not just getting something to where it's like, okay, here's some dust, here's some gold, here's whatever it is. Like at the end of the day, you're getting multiple decks that you can play, and they might not be flashy, might not be the best thing in the world, but you have something to do. And it reminds me of, when you play some of these other games, you play Arena, Magic the Gathering Arena, or what have you. They'll give you like 6 or 7 decks from the beginning as soon as you log in that you could start playing around with. And I love what they've done with the new player experience, even though it's not brand new right now. But for someone, just starting to play or just on a budget, you are eating good right now. A lot better than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. The old new player experience.
Oh, look at that! Fireworks went off, and he didn't do anything right now. That must be a good thing. Hey, listen, we're not talking about a lot right now because we have some stuff at the end of the episode we want to get to. So let's go ahead and let's talk about voicemail right now. Let's get to some mailbag questions or comments or whatever. Listen, if you want your Hearthstone complaint, comment, aggravation, something like that, you want it on the show, go to speakpipe.com/HS complaints. You could put in a fun name. You could put in a fake name. You could say anonymous. You can also send us, messages through Discord. We both have Discord. You can send messages on Twitter. We both have, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it. So I got an anonymous one, and I have to call them anonymous because they want to make sure that no one knows who they are or what have you. But I have someone that said, listen, if I can encapsulate the meta right now in an emoji, you're going to see it. You're going to see it for the first time. Here it is. I like the way, like, if you see this, like, if you're unpacking this, because we like to unpack stuff here, everything's fine. It's an emoji. It's a regular emoji. And then it gets worse over time. That's got to be saying something. What do you think?
For the listening, anyone that's listening and not watching, it's the swearing emoji as like a GIF.
That's right. See, following my own lead.
That guy is angry. That guy is really angry.
Very angry. He's got some things to say. Thank you, Anonymous. You know exactly who you are because I know you will be listening. I will not tell exactly anybody who you are, but yeah, I feel it. I mean, I see a lot of other players right now talking about, hey, it's not fun right now. And I don't disagree with certain aspects of that. Like there's some parts of it that are not fun right now, but isn't this almost exactly like the end of a cycle? Right before the new expansion happens, that this happens across time. What do you think?
It always happens. I think this one's a little more egregious because they brought back anomalies, so people are like, oh man, they're mad for a week, even though like they tried to spice it up again, with Gen and Baku, and like that's great. Like I think that's something that like for this end of cycle stuff, they should just be introducing like random cards, just because it's fun.
Yeah,
you're right. Get rid of them right when the new expansion comes out. Just add a bunch of random cards. It's really funny. It's only for like a month, not even.
No, I love that idea. Hey, listen, we have a bumper this time. I'm going to start putting bumpers in here. So let's go through the voicemail bumper, and then we'll listen to the voicemails.
I'm glad you called, but I'm not home. But I'll be back before too long. You gotta wait for the beep. You gotta leave your name. You gotta leave your number. Wait for the beep. It's me again. I just had to hear it one more time.
I did good on that one. Let's go into voicemail. So the first voicemail we have, and the cool thing that we do is Nick has not heard these, so he can react as on the cuff as possible. I listen to everything, but I like to keep that open, and he likes the way that works. So this is the first time Nick will be listening to this one. First one will be from Bolvar. Bolvar has some things to say, and we're going to go to it right now.
Okay, so open the gateway. I know a lot of people have already complained about this card, but I just hate it with a deep passion. I genuinely just think it's flawed in its design. The fact that each player takes a 1 turn one after another, is such a fundamental mechanic to all card games. And then Blizzard just came in with this stupid quest and was like, you know what? Nah, let's break that. And like, I know for a fact that when they were making this cut, they knew it was gonna break the game one day. They knew what they were doing. They knew what's up. And then it took them 7 years to fix this cut. 7 years to nerf it. 7 years. And it's still really good. I don't know. I just think this card is stupid. I hate it. Can we just like delete it and print some actual good cards for Mage and make Mage an actual playable card with fun archetypes? Huh? I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. By the way, Blizzard, please buff Bolvar.
Okay. He said a lot. Thank you, Bolvar, for the notes. Give me your comments and your thoughts on Bolvar's comment.
So I know this guy. I think he's a longtime Flare viewer. I love this guy.
Nice.
Yeah, obviously buff all 3 Bolvars. You know they need it, but I mean it's how everyone feels that plays Wild. Everyone hates Waygate. Like the deck itself is not fun, which says a lot, right? Because playing a lot of cards is objectively fun. You know, people have a lot of fun playing decks like Miracle Rogue, playing like Huron Hunter, playing just combo decks, right? But it's one of those few combo decks that is like not fun for most people that play it. Like most of the people that do try to play it don't think it's fun, which is already an issue, right? If majority of the people are playing a deck that is already ruining the experience for the other player and they're not having fun, like what's going on there? Like it's at least like when you look at like Miracle Rogue or Huron Hunter, decks like this under the microscope, the player who is playing them is usually having fun, right? Like, so
yes,
if you're already ruining the game for your opponent and you're not having fun, like, why can't we just kill the deck? You know, no one's having fun with it existing. So why does it have to exist?
It would be interesting to think about some of these situations, because if you put 50 players in the room and say, give me the card that is absolutely the scene, most likely, yes, there'll be some similarities there, but you're going to get major differences based on your preference of class, preference of, play style or what have you, whether you're aggro, whether you're control. And, the idea that I'm having is, how many times could we take this conversation and pull the name of the card out and put another card in and have almost the exact same situation? I mean, I could think of 2 or 3 right now that I never want to see again. We've talked about it on the episodes.
I mean, it's always going to happen, right? Everyone's going to dislike a bunch of cards. Those cards can get nerfed. Then there'll be new cards to dislike. You know what I mean? That's just going to happen.
Yes.
But when you have the reason I think that Quest Mage is like, really egregious is that people have been complaining about Waygate for years, like full on years. Like it's one thing if it's like, one expansion and then like people are really upset at Paladin for one expansion, right? That's 3 months. But if it's, Open the Waygate, which has been like a disgusting, hated card for like 5 or 6 years, then like what do you do from that point, right? If 5-6 years long and people are hating a card, it's not even just Waygate that is the issue. It's also Ice Block, and Ice Block has been hated in this game for 10 whole years.
Ice Block can go away. I agree with you.
10 whole years.
The one thing I wanted to say with this is, there is some upside, because, we're talking about, Quest Mage a little bit, Quest Mage adjacent or what have you. My wife started playing the game when Mercenaries was a thing, and she liked the idea of playing like a game where it's just, back and forth. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of seriousness to it or what have you. And then she saw me playing Quest Mage, and she's literally not stopped playing Mage because of Quest Mage. Because listen, in terms of everything that you have to do I think, my wife likes that I do this, but she's not listening to every word I say. I mention a card and she's like, what card is that? And then, when she describes certain things, but she's not like embedded into the game, but she's really good at Mage. She doesn't play other classes. She plays Mage because of Quest Mage. Is there a group, whether it's a small group or a medium-sized group, any type of group that is like, hey, listen, I'm playing the game now, or I'm playing this class now, or I'm loving this now because of that specific card that is hated by so many? And I have a second one that I have to ask after I let you talk because I'm talking too much.
No, it's okay. I don't know. It's tough, right? Because like I know that exact feeling, right? Like I was upset when Leeching Poison got nerfed for Mill Kingsbane and Wild. I'm like, yeah, I guess nowadays, right? It's a good thing that it did get nerfed because if Leeching Poison was still the same thing, Kingsbane would be the best deck ever. I can say that as a fact. If Leeching Poison never got nerfed, Kingsbane right now would be the best deck to ever exist in Hearthstone. It would be so unreal levels broken. But so like, yeah, I get it, right? But it's rough, right? Because like when you have the minority that likes the thing and the majority hates it, that's why you have like how do I put this? That's why you have things like voting, right? Majority is always going to want something. So if you have like a minority that's like, oh, we don't want this, sucks a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The whole point of minority and majority voting is that like the majority is usually what people want, right? More people want it. That's why it's a majority, right? And then it sucks because like when you play a game like this, you don't actually have a vote. You know what I mean? So it's not like you could influence people in any way. If enough people cry and then some Blizzard, or not just some Blizzard, any dev in any game listens and they're like, okay, you know what? I kind of get it. Then all the people that are like, no, I kind of like this. Well, you didn't really get a chance to begin with. You know what I mean?
No, I like that. And this gives me, so this is the stuff we're going to unpack now. So my idea is if a card starts running into a situation, there will be a list, whether it's halfway through the expansion or something like that, or like a week after mini set or something like that. There's a list. Here's the most complained about cards for this expansion. Here is a list. Everybody gets to vote. And then the ones that, the most, no votes, time to go, those are removed from standard. This is just a stupid idea, but it's a fun idea. So let's talk about it. And then the second part to this, the second part to this would be all of those. Let's say there was a group of 3 cards and everybody voted that, hey, it's time to get rid of these. Should these go into Wild? And now I'm going to shut up.
So what you're talking about is just like a ban list, which happens all the time in other games. Hearthstone doesn't really have a ban list. They'll keep cards banned for like a little while, but because it's a virtual game, they can just adjust numbers. You can't really do that for paper card games, right? The issue arises when, okay, the devs want to nerf a card, but they don't want to nerf it to the point that like you just disenchant it no matter what, right? So that's why like they tack on 1 extra mana to Ziliax, 1 extra mana to Reno Lone Ranger, stuff like that, right? A lot of the problems with Hearthstone cards aren't the balance team's decisions. They're the design team's decisions. It's not the balance team that decided Reno Lone Ranger should be 8 mana. If your deck has no duplicates, not starting with no duplicates to do all that stuff. The balance team didn't decide that at all. That was the design team. And a lot of people need to understand that it's fine to get angry when things are overpowered, right? That's fine. But it's not fine to be like, oh, the balance of the game is so terrible. Oh, I hate the balance team, all that. Because it's really not their fault. They are trying their absolute hardest with what they're given. What we do need to do is be like, have a very clear, concise message. Hey, we don't like this effect. We don't like how cards are being, exponentially power crept way more than they ever were before. And like being angry and being hurtful about it doesn't help you. They just ignore it at that point because that's not, they don't want to listen to that. They have to listen to that like 8,000. They probably get at least a few hundred messages each day. And expansion's 3 months long, so that adds up, right? Of hate messages. So if people are just very clear and concise what their issues are, rather than having to like go through a bunch of cesspool, it'll be a lot easier for them to actually, listen. And I think that kind of happened because Perils in Paradise very clearly shows that they are not doing the same design mistakes that they're doing in Whizbang's Workshop. Yes, a lot of cards in Perils in Paradise are really strong. Don't get me wrong. But when you compare cards like Ziliax to cards like, say, I don't even know, like all of the Taurus, actually, the Taurus are a lot easier to balance around than something like Ziliax. Because Ziliax is this ultra-powerful neutral card that has like 8 different I think it's literally eight different modules versus, okay, this is just a legendary that you can like run in your deck or not if you don't want it.
Right.
So like
No,
that's
right.
where it comes. They keep having overloaded cards that do way too much. This is like a term that's used a lot in League of Legends, and I wouldn't typically use it for Hearthstone, but when you get to cards like Reno Lone Ranger, like Yogg-Saron Unleash, like like Ziliax, that's where you can use the term overloaded on what they can do. And we already saw that where they just take things away. They took away the ability to cheat mana on Yogg because that was one thing it didn't need. And Yogg's still a great card. Yogg is an amazing card even.
Yeah, that's true.
And then,
I agree.
Then you have like Ziliax. They took stealth away from it, and then a lot of mana, but whatever. And then Reno Lone Ranger, they took 2 mana away from it, and they took away the ability to run it in a duplicate deck because that's something it shouldn't have been able to do in the first place. So it's like the design team keeps putting too much into cards that are like centralizing because they're neutral cards and ultra powerful. And they need to just like not do that. I don't know a better way to describe it. And that in Perils of Paradise, they're doing exactly that. Like, what of the aside? I guess Marin is the card for that. I don't know what else to say. But aside from Marin, none of the neutral legendaries look incredibly overloaded with way too many effects. Right? They're not doing like 4 different things at once like a lot of these older legendaries were. And that lowers the power level of the game significantly, which allows you to print something like Tourist, which are pretty bad, all things considered. The Tourists themselves are not that great of legendaries. It's just they let you do something else. Yeah. And that's where they're good. Being able to do more than one thing with one card slot is incredible. And that's why you have all these design issues that people are running into lately. Sorry,
No, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, This is why you're here. I want you to be as long-winded as possible. I love that. Are you more interested in Perils in Paradise now, a week before launch, than you were Whizbangs or the expansion before a week before launch?
Okay, so I have to say this with a big asterisk. Yes, but I would be if Hunter didn't have terrible cards. That's a me thing. That's a me thing that I think all the Hunter cards are kind of boring and uninteresting. But that also happened in Showdown in the Badlands and Whizbang's Workshop. So I'm like, that's a little different.
But Hunter's not been like dumpster fire recently.
No, in standard, it's really all these cards are great in standard. Don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about in wild.
Yeah, that's
Hunter.
True. Okay.
Hunter needs like a lot of stuff to work in wild. It needs a lot of hyper synergistic things that it doesn't have at all. So in wild, it kind of falls flat. But in standard, these cards are like overpowered all the time. Game breaking. I don't get it. I don't know.
You should just go back to standard.
Yeah, I am going to be playing standard at least for the first like maybe month of this expansion, just so I can play with tourists. Because I think only like 3, maybe 4 tourists see any play in wild whatsoever. And I don't think you run a single priest card in Demon Hunter. So
that's one of the things that I was looking at too. I was like, okay, you look at the expansions last year and you saw where the pieces fit. Even Whizbangs or what have you see where the pieces fit. And I don't have a huge experience in wild or what have you, but I think this really changes the dynamic of the game, this expansion this time. Because it is not crazy. Like, okay, we can tell. Like, when I did the Titans, when I did Showdown, I'm like, this is going to be broken, and I don't think I have that this time. I don't have any like, oh my god, this is broke. Like I thought Death Knight was going to be, on certain instances, tier 1 across the board. Same with Paladin, and they kind of were. This time, I'm like, no, I don't see one that's an outlier. That's like, oh my goodness. This one is going to be a problem. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, the issue with that, it sucks that this issue exists, is that means that there has to be a mass nerf, because if none of the cards look like they're super standout broken, then all the cards that were super standout broken are just going to be played instead. You know what I mean? True. So
true.
What they did in the past is they did that like big patch that nerfed like 50 different cards, and that's fine. I like when they do that. I think they should do it more often, if anything. But that's probably what's going to happen, right? The first 2 weeks expansion, people will complain that there's no new cards. That's what happens when you have lower power level expansions, quote unquote.
Yep.
And that's fine. I'm going to be honest, because people have been asking for this for so long. They keep constantly asking for lower power level expansions that are more about synergies than just really broken cards, right? And that's what Perils in Paradise feels like to me. And I feel like the tourist mechanic really extrapolates on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm optimistic for this expansion. For the fact is okay, I don't see that I'm going to see the same 4 decks on, at the same time, or to where you're going to get what you had in the past, where, this was last week before Splish Splash was removed or what have you. All you saw was druids in certain parts of the ladder. That was it. If you were playing the game, you were fighting druid.
I said this whole thing about defending the balance team, and then they do that. Okay, look, come on.
Listen,
where they didn't nerf druid, even though it was by far the best class in the game.
I don't think I could ever be in the position of doing something it might be easy to them. I have no idea. I have no idea, but balancing the game with so many cards, so many iterations, so many different pieces or what have you, there's no shot. I do some complicated stuff in my life, in my career and everything like that. There's no shot I would want to do something like this, and my hat's off to every single one of them. Oh, yeah, no, dude. Balancing games is so much harder than people give it credit for. There's so many moving parts. There's 5,000 cards in Hearthstone. There's what? It's 145 cards per expansion. So there's probably 800 cards in standard alone. Dude, no one's gonna get it perfect every single time. It's actually impossible. So they do try their best, but it's just sometimes you're just given a raw deal, and you can't really do much with it. Sometimes you're just going to get a Zilliax. That's it. Sometimes you're just going to get a Zilliax. Hey, let's listen to the second voicemail, and then we got some other stuff to talk about. So this one came in a little bit late last week. This is from Sketchy Tech. We're playing it because, like I said, we're going to try to get to every voicemail that comes into the office. Let's see what Sketchy Tech has to say.
The free legendaries given to us when the expansion launches have been pretty good. And yet, the standard has been set from Lena and is being impressed on for Perils in Paradise. I've asked the question, people are thinking AFK is the free legendary. In which, why? Why is that the first thing you go to? Again, Lena was bad, so possibly the second one is bad. Let's take a look at the last year's free legendaries. We got Pozic, who was very, very good in aggro, and broke the meta for a bit. We had Barrowbrim, yes, I skipped expansion, but I'm getting back to it, who was decent, but really saw playing Reno decks, which is quite good. And then Ignis. Do I need to explain why he's good? Do I really? I just... Why is the standard here? I don't know. I don't get it. I can't even formulate real senses anymore. Why? All because of one card released prior. All the free legendaries are bad. Why is this precedent? Why is it a thing? What?
Okay, so there was a lot to unpack on that, on that voicemail. And thank you, Sketchy Tech, for bringing that in. One of the things I forgot all about was Ignis was a free card. Yeah, it was. I think it's just the first legendary you get on the reward track, because it wasn't, or was it the pre-order card? Or not pre-order, the pre-expansion card. Right, the expansion promo, if you will. I think it was just the reward track card. I can look it up, actually. Yeah, I'm looking it up as well. That is crazy that we got. Yeah, Ignis was free and is still free right now. If you open any Titans pack, you'll get that card. But I just don't remember it being. Yeah,
Like, Ignis is a crazy good card. Like it's one of the best. I would say it's probably one of the best free legendaries ever. Marin obviously is up there as well. It's really good. I'm surprised that card hasn't gotten nerfed for standard at some point. Like
it's a nutty card. Yeah, it doesn't say right here regular and golden uncraftable. It doesn't say where it was from, and that drives me nuts we don't remember.
I think if you get it, if it's like one of the ones you get from a pack, that is a pre-expansion one. I think
the way it works now is if you open any Titans, you got it either on the rewards track or you got it. Here we go. How to get. So when it first came out, it was on the Titans free track level 1. That's the one that you got for free. So that was not. It wasn't the promo card or what have you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're able, like if you buy a Titans pack, if you just started today, you buy a Titans pack, you use gold for it or what have you, this one comes up automatically. That one's in that pack. And then also the golden version of this was the Titans paid track, level 55 on that. So that makes sense. But I mean, some of these cards, and I was mentioning it before, is, some of these cards, whether they were free in the rewards track or free as the promo card, I'm looking at these cards and we're like, not how bad is it going to be today, but how bad is it going to be until it leaves the standard set, if you will, if we're talking about standard, and then it goes into wild. Like looking at that one card and saying, how bad is this going to mess up everything for a longer period of time? What's the deal with that?
So from what I remember, it started with Samuro and Forge of the Barons, then, which was really good. Samuro is a great card. It saw a lot of play in Wild. It kind of doesn't really see play anymore, but that's kind of because like hand buff Paladin's not very good.
I believe it's in a twist deck right now.
Yeah. Then there was Flightmaster Dungar, I think it was, and that card was bad. Like,
boring.
Whatever. Alterac. Alterac, I know you got Drekthar and Vandar, but I don't remember if they were the rewards. If you would get the other on the rewards track or something, you had to like pick which one. Those were like the pre-expansion ones, right?
Yeah. That was an event where you had to pick one of them.
Yeah,
and I think the winners of that event got both of them, or something like I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. And then you had Okani and Sunken City, really good card. Yep. Nathria gave you, it was Denathrius, right? Because Renathal was the pre-order, and then Denathrius was free.
I believe so.
And then, Denathrius, really good card. It got nerfed. It still isn't even unnerfed. That's how good Denathrius was. They didn't even think it was worthwhile to unnerf for Wild, which is pretty nuts. Then March of the Lich King was, oh man. I don't remember what March of the Lich King was.
No, neither do I. I'm looking it up.
Yeah. It was Lorthamar. Yeah.
How did we forget that?
What?
Oh, I know why we forgot that.
Yeah. Lorthamar.
It makes perfect sense why we forgot that.
The 7-mana 7/7. Yeah, that card was pretty good, I think, in Standard. In Wild, it wasn't really anything special. In Standard, I think it saw play like sometimes. Then in Festival of Legends, you got Pazik. We already talked about that. Pazik. Then it was Ignis, which is really good. Again, Pazik, really good. Pazik was like really good in Wild before it was nerfed. It's still good. I still run Pazik in Wild. I think it's a really good card. It's underrated in like Reno Hunter.
Right.
Just going down the list, like Dungar wasn't very good. And then that's it. All the other ones saw play.
Yeah. What was the one for Festival of Legends? That was ETC, right?
Yeah, that was the pre-order one, and then the one that you got for the track was Pazik. I was also wrong. Okay. It wasn't Samuro that you got from the track. It was Mankrik. Or maybe no. I don't know. Never mind. Whatever. It was either Mankrik or Samuro from Forge of the Barons. Whatever. Basically what we're getting at is it's only been like one other card that's been not very good from the reward track. So I doubt they're gonna put something like AFK, right, on the reward track. They'll probably put like what's it called? Insidious? I don't remember what the card is called. The neutral elemental, the 6-mana 2/10.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
That card seems like it will be quite decent, and at least it's standard. So I feel like they would put that on there. What else is there? Rarity, legendary. Oh, yeah, you have Grifta, Incendious, Gorgon Zoromu, and then AFK. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Grifta, Incendious, and Gorgon Zoromu are all pretty fine cards. I'm not gonna lie. So it'd only be AFK that would be the bad one if they put it on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, by the time this is played, we're going to know all of these stories and more. I am sure of it, because we have to send this out. We normally have this shipped out ready to rock and roll by Sunday night.
Oh, that's true.
We're waiting a little bit. We're waiting just a tiny little bit. So we are making sure that we're not breaking any rules and regulations of some of the news that we have to talk about. I think we should talk about let's go ahead and talk about the announcement. So, to the shock that I was shocked, you were shocked too, right?
I was so shocked.
Okay. So we got invited to the theory crafting event that's happening on Wednesday, on the 17th of July. So that's like, listen, you're listening to this today. In 2 days, we're going to be playing with the new cards, and we're going to be playing with the new cards early, and we're going to be streaming the event. Let's talk about all the fun stuff. Nick, how excited are you about this?
Dude, I genuinely, when I saw this, when Hat messaged me, because that's how it happened. Hat just messaged us. I was freaking out. Like, I was freaking out. You don't understand. I was like literally jumping for joy. Like, not an exaggeration.
Yeah. Listen, I was doing the same. So you found out before I did, because I don't.
Yeah, because I think you were asleep.
Yeah, I go to bed earlier than you do, or what have you. I still don't go to bed early, but I go to bed earlier than you do. I was sitting there and I didn't look at anything until like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at my lunchtime. Like, so I was at work doing everything, and I'm sitting there seeing the notifications, and then you said something to me like, dude, or what have you. Or like you said, oh, did you see anything? And I was like, oh my goodness. I came over probably about 16 times to tell my wife and my daughter, like, oh, I get to do this, and oh, I get to do this, and did you know about this? I was annoying the hell out of them for sure. I'm very stoked about this.
Yeah, it feels awkward, because like I know that exact scenario. That's what I did, because we couldn't really tell anyone else, but like you can tell your family members, they're not going to say anything. That's what I did.
We could talk about it, because he asked you and what I think it is. I think it's the power of this of this podcast. I think they're like, hey, they do well together. They talk well together. So thank you for helping me, Nick. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and then you come along 5 episodes later, boom, I get into it. So thank you very much.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're the mastermind behind all this.
That's true. Okay, I'll take half the. Listen, I'll take 85% of the credit. You'll take 15%, and then as we go through, it'll just start merging it that way. No, I'm just kidding. I would not be able to be sounding half as good as I did without Nick being here, and I appreciate him being here, and I appreciate the opportunities that were given by Team 5 and Blizzard and Ridiculous Hat, who is the GOAT, is amazing. We can talk about it now. This is what we're going to do. Nick and I decided that, listen, our bread and butter, not to joke around with that other podcast, it's called Bread and Butter Hearthstone. You should listen to it. But listen, we're on YouTube, and we're spending our time working on YouTube. It would be silly for us to go to Twitch. Yeah. We're both going to be streaming our theory crafting on YouTube. You agree with this, right? Why would we go to Twitch right now when we're working with YouTube? We might do some restreaming, because I know that there's going to be, and remember, we don't have the announcement, all the event specifics or what have you. That's going to be talked about on Monday or what have you. But I know there's going to be drops. So there'll be drops on Twitch, not on YouTube. Maybe we could do some restream type IO thing to get that set up. But the cool thing is, listen, we have your back. We have your back, because there's giveaways. Right, Nick? There's going to be some bundle giveaways. Blizzard was kind enough to give us a few bundles, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to give away those bundles while we're doing the live streams and everything like that. And they also told us, I watch every single live stream as it comes through. And one of the things that I always am interested in is before you're playing the cards. I want to see all the cool stuff that's in the client as much as I want to see the new interactions. And they said, listen, we can go through and we can look at all the new cosmetics. We can look at all the new pieces, and we're going to do that. I'm absolutely going to do that. So before we're going to crack into any of the cards or any of the decks or what have you, we're going to see all the cool stuff that we, unfortunately, most of us, if not all of us, will not be able to play until next week, but we'll get to see all the cool stuff and all the fancy shiny objects. They're going to give us the ability to play the diamond cards, the golden cards, the signature cards. And the cool thing is, you ask me, I'm not doing this to win games. I'm doing this to have fun and see interactions. So let's mess around. Like, oh, you want to see this cosmetic or you want to see this signature? Let's do it. I'm ready to rock and roll. What about you?
Oh, yeah. Dude, if I own a signature or own a diamond card, I will never use the original version, even if I have both of them.
Exactly.
Never. I just like looking at so do you have the option turned on Deck Tracker where if you hover over a card you can read its flavor text?
Yes.
That's all I do in my games. In my opponent's turn, I just read flavor text over and over again. That's all I do. I love the art, I love flavor text, I love all the stupid little like not important air quotes stuff that they add. So like obviously, I'm going to use I'm going to run a full deck that's all diamonds, all signatures, all that. What are they going to do? Stop me? No, they're not.
No, absolutely. And then one of the other things is we're setting this up. There's 2 time zone slots, if you will. I'm going to do the early time slot. So I think it's 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then Nick's going to do the late one. And then what we're going to try to do is, because we are working very well together, I'm going to try to be in Nick's stream, maybe to do some co-op, maybe to have some discussions, maybe to talk about my experience. Nick is going to be around as much as he can, if not, on the screen talking, through Discord, at least be in the chat. We'll interact, we'll hang out, we'll talk about all the broken stuff we see, all the fun stuff we see. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I just can't talk in the early part. It's just I can't do it at all. It's awkward, but it sucks. That's mainly why I'm doing the later one as well. It's fine. I can't do it.
It's fine. Like, even if you stop in for a few minutes, like I took time off of work to be able to do this because I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna thank you to Ridiculous Hat for hooking us up. Thank you to Team 5 and Blizzard for being so awesome and inviting us. I am so stoked. I'm not going to name any other names. You'll see the announcement before you see this, so you'll see the other ones that are in there. But we got a nice group of people that we're going to be doing this with.
What do you mean? You're not going to upload this exactly at 12:30, so anyone that would watch it would be able to time it exactly when the announcement is happening?
There's so much to do. I don't know. Depending on the situation, I'm going to try to, but I want to make sure that they see the pieces first. I don't want to mess up and break the first conversation.
What I'm doing is my announcement video. I'm uploading. I have it scheduled for 1:00, which is when their announcement is. Or 1 EST, of course. So I have it directly scheduled for that. So I think you should probably upload this one at 1, but we should probably.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right around. I just want to make sure, just in case there's a problem to where they don't do it early, that I don't run into that situation. Yes, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but listen, it's gonna be fun. I thank them for the opportunity. We will definitely make sure we're gonna be on our best behavior, and we're going to have a good time, and we'll make sure that we're not conceding on anybody early. Again, I'm not there to win. I'm there to see all the cool stuff that I can do with the game. So I joked around that I'm going to have my name changed, instead of saying this week in the client, to just be free wins. You're going to know it. You're going to be like, yep, there's no way I'm going to lose. I mean, I'm going to try or what have you. And what I'm probably going to do is probably Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be on YouTube live streaming a little bit, maybe to do some like theory crafting. Because I listen, this is not my wheelhouse. You know, I have not done a lot of theory crafting. I've got cool ideas, but I've never sat there and said, okay, there's going to be people watching me play something that hasn't been played before, and there's no net decks to fall back on the essential core groups of this conversation. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What I'm doing is I just asked like my Discord like members, like, hey, make a deck, make a standard theory craft. I just didn't tell them what it was for.
That's a good idea. So listen, right now, if you're listening, please, you know how to find us. Like I said, Discord, YouTube. You could even go on to Twitter. If you have some decks that you want to see me try out, let's do it. Send it over to me. I have no problems. I'll be as open as possible in getting those out there. Let's just sit there and have some fun, see the new cards, see the new interactions, see all the cool stuff that's in the game that we can't play with for a week. I'm super excited.
Oh yeah.
All right. What else do we have to say? Do we have to say anything else besides, hey, we're done, so let's tell everybody where we can find each other?
Yeah, you can find me over there. And for anyone that's listening, it's at FlairHS_ on Twitter. And then it's Flair Hearthstone, just no space, on YouTube. You can find me complaining about something or maybe saying something good. I don't know.
We'll see on that. No, listen, everything's good there. There's nothing to see.
Then you can find this guy at This Week in HS on Twitter, and then at This Week in Hearthstone on YouTube.com to watch I can't talk. To watch the budget decks and current events that happen in Hearthstone. Honestly, it's kind of cool if you ask me.
See, and he's not. Listen, I didn't even pay him to tell that. He's not. This is not a paid sponsorship. This is not a ad or what have you. It's kind of an ad, but it's an ad that we're talking about. Come to our channels, say hi. We do like to talk to our commenters. Even if you're wrong, you'll still be allowed in the comment section. And yeah, that's it for this week. For the Hearthstone Complaint Department, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening. We want your saltiest takes on a card, a class, a set, or a specific match in Hearthstone. So please reach out to speakpipe.com/hscomplaints and tell us what happened. We'd love to have you on the episode. And of course, like I said, follow Flair, follow me. We don't have a tagline yet, but if we did, it would be right here. Say goodnight, Nick.
Good night, Nick.
Thank you. This is the first time he said it. Good night, everybody. See you later.
Oh my gosh.